Welcome to our volunteer retention presentation. The information used in this presentation comes mainly from observations of effective strategies employed by clubs to keep volunteers at. I've been the club development officer at Northern New South Wales Football for the past 5 years and continue to have the privilege of working with some wonderful clubs that value volunteers and do an effective job of keeping them engaged. Northern New South Wales Football acknowledges the Awabakal people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. We recognise the continuing connection of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to the sky, land and waters and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Volunteers give life to every football club. Finding volunteers is tough. Keeping them is a skill. Making them feel included, valued and wanting further involvement is a skill that is very difficult to achieve. Being involved with a football club committee has changed and continues to evolve. There is not really an off-season any longer. People are seemingly more time poor than ever before and increasingly reluctant to commit. Every volunteer hour contributed needs to be valued. Through this presentation, please reflect on your own practice, even if it takes just one idea that you can turn into a positive for your club. Registration of all volunteers is compulsory. Registration on Play Football does a number of things. It provides clubs with details of people working in the club. It provides insurance to the registered volunteer. It allows Northern New South Wales to promote upcoming training opportunities, most importantly those coaching and refereeing courses. Working with Children Check was legislated in New South Wales in 2013. It is a barrier to prevent known offenders from playing a role in football. There is another video in this series that deals with the Working with Children checks. There is also another video in this series that targets recruitment of volunteers. I will now work through some key areas of volunteer retention. Engagement with volunteers is very important to their continued involvement. Communication needs to be clear, concise and carry a tone of being organised. Governance aimed at developing positive club culture should be a continuing objective for the club. Empower volunteers through forming subcommittees to explore pathways to achieve goals. Empower existing volunteers to be a part of the club's journey. Incentivise for coaches to continue in the following season, maybe by subsidising coach development opportunities. Incentivise for mini-roos game leaders to complete level 4 referee courses and continue their involvement in the game. Create opportunities for volunteers to provide feedback. Information can be collected through surveys or simply through a phone call or conversation. Use feedback to drive change. Ask volunteers to contribute towards the club's annual report or the President's report for the AGM. Review position descriptions prior to the AGM in consultation with the person that previously filled the role. Make adjustments as required. Be prepared to create and adapt position descriptions for existing and prospective volunteers. Plan a purposeful volunteer induction for the following season. Consider recording and posting interviews with existing volunteers to encourage others to get involved. Have a clear objective to find the skills required that will ultimately improve your club. Review communication. Seek alternate ways to share information. If the current method is not proving to be effective, this is an evolving space, and the people presently involved are the best source for confirming your present systems are working or whether they need improvement. Be transparent and inclusive with communications as a way of engaging with and retaining volunteers. The most powerful tool for rewarding volunteers is an in-house weekly or monthly volunteer award. This has an added bonus of creating positive social media content about existing volunteers. which works away in the background to encourage others to step forward. Seek a sponsor for the awards. Could be a local pub, could be a local cafe, and I've seen clubs hand out things like Rebel vouchers. Do not underestimate the power of club merchandise as a reward. There are a percentage of people who volunteer because they want to belong. So this supports that type of volunteer. While the merchandise carries a sponsor logo, it is also supporting sponsorship within the club. The easiest way to look after volunteers is to work towards a culture that embraces volunteering. A culture where participants and spectators value volunteers by constantly checking their behaviour and making a contribution when at the venue. Look after your existing volunteer workforce. Reward them, thank them, acknowledge their contribution. Have conversations with people that volunteer. If asking for input, then find a way to value that contribution. Constantly evolve position description to suit volunteers. Embrace change and create a plan that overcomes barriers. I guess as one final is to just be vigilant as you visit other clubs, looking for opportunities that can then be employed to improve what you are doing in your own club. As always, reach out if we can assist your club further. Thank you.